What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis. As always, I am your host, Dylan. You can give me a follow on Twitter at DylanJD98, and we are streaming to you guys live through the Paint Lines Network on their Twitter and YouTube accounts and live through DSM Media's Twitch account. So go follow DSM Media on Twitch and subscribe on Twitter and TikTok as well. Today, I'm joined by my man, Gint. As always, give him a follow at Matt_McGinty. He's muted right now because he's got some random women upstairs vacuuming in his home that he does not know. And then one of our buddies, George Ryder, give him a follow at _George Ryder. And in just a few minutes, we will be joined by 97.5 The Fanatics, Pat Egan from the John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatics. So you can give him a follow at Pat_Egan, and he'll be in here soon to, just get you guys ready for game 2 tonight versus the Washington Wizards. I got no worry. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm sure once 7 o'clock comes, the nerves will kick in, and I'll get a little more anxious and nervous as this game, develops. But right now, I'm good, man. I got no worry that this team doesn't cruise through the first round, and we'll see what happens from there. But Gint, George, how are you? Gint, you still got murder on your mind from work?
No, yeah, I'm chilling now. The little vacuuming session got me over with. I don't know what is going on upstairs, but I'm with you. I think we're going to cruise. If you're looking at like the trend of the first round this far in the Eastern Conference, that is, a lot of teams have kept game 1 close and then just got obliterated game 2. You saw them in the Milwaukee series, saw in the Brooklyn series. So kind of hoping that happens this way as well.
George, how are you doing?
Yeah, didn't really shoot well from 3 game 1. Embiid got into foul trouble early. I don't like to use the word blowout, but I think tonight is an easy win. At least we control the whole tempo.
Yeah, we'll get into game 2 in a minute. And I reviewed game 1 on Monday with Scotty and JD, but I haven't gotten your guys' thoughts on this yet. What were your thoughts on game 1? Like George just mentioned, Embiid's foul trouble early in that game and not playing much of the first half. I think Washington blew their chance at stealing a game. I think if there was a game for the Wizards to steal, especially in Philly, it was having Joel Embiid on the bench for a majority of the first half, and they were unsuccessful at doing so. And I think that's it. I think the Sixers come out. They didn't shoot well from 3 early for most of the first half. Honestly, they didn't shoot well altogether early in the first half. And like I said, their best player, their MVP, was sitting his ass on the bench for a while. So I think the Wizards blew their only chance. Gint, I talked about it on Monday. We discussed the rotation and Shake Milton, and you asked a while ago, like, is he on a leash? How long or how short is his leash this postseason with Doc Rivers because of his play? And you saw that. In all honesty, I think you saw that. He played 9 minutes. He was a minus 14, I believe, or 13. I believe it was 14 in those 9 minutes. Let me say that again. Minus 14 in 9 minutes of play. He has been awful. And he's turning the ball over at a high rate in the short amount of time he's in the game, or at least it feels like that to me. So what are your thoughts there again? What were your thoughts on Doc playing? How many guys played
11.
We
played 11 guys game 1, I believe. The first rotation, Korkmaz saw some minutes, which was that was some of the worst minutes I've seen out of a basketball player in my life, let alone just him. But we knew he was going to kind of fill the roster out going into the playoffs. I didn't think there would be 11 guys to play at least. And to go to your Shake point, I'm interested to see what he does tonight. I'm interested to see if he gets the first go before Maxey does. Because, Maxey looked like he did at the end of the regular season, just an energetic guy that isn't turning the ball over, attacking the rim. But overall, you might be right. That might have been their chance to steal one. They might be able to get one at home, but like you said, there's not a ton. This is all just preparation for later rounds. This isn't – I don't think –
man. Well, and that's the big thing. So, George, let me throw this to you guys. Or to you first. The rotation, like Gint said, they played 11 guys. So my question to you is, like, I think we knew this was coming in the early rounds, at least with Doc. But, like, was this more of Doc just, saying that the Wizards aren't, a very talented team and we're better than them and I can dig deep into my bench and not, throw guys out there for 40 minutes? Or was it the fact that Shake didn't perform well, so he had to go get someone else Ferk didn't perform well, so he had to go get someone else. Trial and error kind of here with some of these guys. And to Gint's point, the rookie looks more calm, cool, and collected than, Shake Milton does, who has experience in the playoffs. And that's, a good thing for Tyrese Maxey and a not so good thing for Shake Milton. I know he's still young. He's like 24, but still. So what did you make of this rotation, this 11-man rotation?
I think it's kind of what Ginn said, just like filling out the rotation and the roster, because like you have guys that you could use, you have options, and Doc 100% knows that there's no chance we lose a series. Like this is preparation for round 2. This is what you're supposed to do. I mean, Maxey got some meaningful minutes. Korkmaz terrible from 3, 0 for 3, didn't look good. So Shake goes in, Shake looked lost. Just kind of like filling out the roster, seeing what you can do, seeing who's the best options for round 2, I guess. Thankfully, Mike Scott was not in that conversation, so that's good for us. Yeah. But yeah, I think he was just filling out the rotation, filling out the roster. I don't think it was really anything else. You have options, and you have guys that you can play and kind of see who's getting the momentum going towards round 2.
Dude, Korkmaz's misses weren't even misses. Like, they weren't even.
They're bad.
Close. Like, that's like when you were in gym class, and like the kids that never played basketball before, like shot a 3. Like, that's what it looked like.
Marky, my man, have fun down at the center. Get down there early. Have a few brews for myself and Gint and George. And let us know how it was down there. Corona Premier's better, but whatever. Let's see. I think Doc's rotation tightens / swells depending on the situation. I agree, and I think
Sure hope so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is off topic from 76ers, but I guess Doc wasn't the issue out west. That's all I'll say about the Clippers, because my God, they are in trouble. And I don't know, dude. I don't know. Kawhi Leonard went from striking fear in me through a television in 2018 or 19, whatever that was, and 2019. And now it's like, all right, it's Kawhi. Paul George, we know how he's been in the postseason. Dude, does he still strike that fear in you?
He had 41 last night.
And they lost.
Yeah, but he was so good last night.
He was unbelievable. Like, dude, Tyronn, remember when people were just begging for Tyronn Lue to be our head coach?
Yeah.
The Clippers are running to the exact same issues that the Clippers ran into last year, and it's just kind of sticking to your guns, and they didn't switch up anything on defense last night, and they got Luka.
Yeah. And then the other thing, Egan will be in here in a few moments, he said, but a couple other highlights from game 1. Obviously, like I said, Joel Embiid missed a lot of the first half due to foul trouble. He still drops 30 on Washington. They have no answer for him. They can throw 3-4 different centers at him. They can throw Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal over on double teams all they want. He's reading them better, and he was unstoppable. Tobias Harris, grown man bucket. I've said it all year long, and the fact it's only one game. I'm not getting ahead of myself here. I do want to see a more consistent Toby in the playoffs, but that was so beautiful, so picture perfect to see him just continue what he was doing in the regular season. Okay, Joel's out. I'm going to put the team on my back offensively. Dude, there was a stretch there. I don't know if you heard Zumhoff say it or not. And if you were watching the TNT crew, just don't talk to me, because my God, the difference between the Seth Curry 3 from, Marv Albert compared to Mark Zumhoff is unbelievable. But there was a moment.
You got to take in the Marv Albert moments. This is his last season.
There was a moment there where Seth Curry finally hit a bucket, and it was the first Sixer to score in the last 6.5 minutes, not named Tobias Harris. He dropped 37, a career playoff high. He, like he said, he kind of went straight at Rui Hachimura and took advantage of him. And then anytime he read a mismatch or he had a mismatch on a switch, whether it was Raul Neto, Bradley Beal, Russ Westbrook, too small, bro. I'm putting my back to the bucket. You're going on my left shoulder, and I'm turning and shooting right over you. And he just buried him all game. And here's one that kind of went a little unnoticed, but I think a lot of Sixers fans noticed it. George Hill, I think, was awesome. I think George Hill was the glue on that bench. The reason they brought him in here. Shake struggled. Maxey was fun for the little minutes that he played, but George Hill as the backup point guard came off the bench, gave you 11. It's nothing flashy, but he hit the first 3 of the game for the Sixers, and he was just like a a calming like presence when things were rocky in that first half, when Washington had the lead, or controlling a little bit of the pace. George Hill was just like very calming and to that second unit, and I think that was huge, to say the least, to see that already in game one of the postseason, and be like, okay, you can put your finger at that and say that's why we brought George Hill here, and it showed already.
He was the only good person off the bench. Everyone else tunk. Dude, did you see the stats about Dwight Howard?
Oh,
he was awful. Opposing
players went 10 of 11 against Dwight Howard the other night. Like, I know Mark Henry, who we've had on the show a couple times, and he does a show with the Painted Lines. He doesn't like Dwight. We all knew that. And we used to get on for it. But dude, my man, that was brutal to watch.
Yeah, dude, he was rough. But George, any other takeaways? Actually, here's our guest today, Pat Egan. Guys, give him a follow at Pat_Egan. He is part of the John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Pat, how are you?
Good. I'm in my. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. Do you care if I put my phone down because I'm about to drive?
Nah, man, you're good.
Okay. All right. That's good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. So first and foremost, we were just kind of reviewing game one a little bit more. Obviously the Sixers won 125 to 118 over Washington. What were your overall thoughts on game one, positives and negatives?
Weren't too many negatives. Look, they're playing an 8 seed for you're supposed to beat an 8 seed every day of the week. I thought the refs were mediocre at best. The one negative was the fact that I guess Joel Embiid, only played 10 minutes because of foul trouble. If you want to harp on the Ben Simmons stuff, there wasn't a ton to really focus on that was negative. The positives, I like the fact they got Tyrese Maxey in the game. I think he's giving Shake a run for his money in terms of the rotation spot. In a weird way, I think the negative of Joel Embiid missing or only playing 10 minutes was actually a positive too, because, we all know the load management thing with him. I'm trying to think Tobias Harris taking all those shots. I like that a lot. The aggressive Tobias Harris. I never really bought into the Tobias Harris needs to show us something in the playoffs. So just to see him go out there and have that performance. Ben seemed motivated. Negative for Ben, I guess, would be foul shooting. I don't mind him having 6 points if he has a performance the way he did, but if you're going to have that performance and you're at the line as much as he was, just please they're called free throws for a reason. But other than that, man, it was kind of a lot of what you expect. The Wizards are starting, Howell freaking Neto, so I don't know why they think that that's a good idea, but when you start Howell Neto, you're going to get smacked pretty good.
Yeah, before I throw it to my guy, Matt, I just have you brought up Ben a couple times, and I said it on Monday, there's a time and a place to have an issue or to be frustrated with Ben Simmons from a game-to-game basis. And Sunday afternoon was just not one of those games. And I know Philly sports radio callers were on fire this week. How do you, being in that industry, deal with some of these callers on a day-to-day basis?
We drink a lot. We drink a lot of alcohol. I myself don't drink, but a lot of my co-hosts do. Look, the reality is it's unfortunate, but the stupidest people are usually going to be the loudest. And I can just tell you from being outside of it and being inside of it, I think what happens is, Joe Blow goes to work and he starts ripping Ben Simmons, and everybody at work is like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? So Joe Blow wants to prove his point by calling up sports radio to get affirmation that he's correct. And then we laugh him off the air and are like, dude, no, you're an idiot. And we try to do that as nicely as possible. But yeah, look, some callers add a ton of value and bring insight and will actually make us think and ponder our own arguments. Some are the people that, they're not going to be changed in their mindset. And these are the people that, for whatever reason, don't like Ben Simmons, think that everything he does is a caveat, thinks that, we're drinking Kool-Aid. Ben Simmons is the farthest thing from a perfect player, but you're right. You time and place. I've been frustrated by Ben Simmons' play before in the past. I think everybody has. When he's putting up 15 and 15, just please shut up. So Luckily on the show that I do, since I'm at a red light, I'll put the camera. Luckily, we don't take a ton of calls because we screen like crazy. Other shows will kind of just like let you on if you just give a name and a topic. We don't do that, so we didn't really have to deal with it too much. But yeah, you're gonna get the tweets from people that put the, oh okay, 6 points, LOL, and you're like, bro, you're not laughing out loud. Shut up. So look, it can get frustrating, but there's that's when we just hang up on them and continue to move on, and we all have a good chuckle about it and go about our day, and then they'll sit there and think they won the argument. And sorry, my kid's in the back.
You're good.
Yeah. But zip it. Yeah, but that's basically how you deal with it. It's a part of the job, so you know that there's gonna be people that call you up and don't know what the hell they're talking about, and it's unfortunate, but that is our cross to bear, if you will. It's a lot better than digging ditches. So if I have to deal with dumb sports radio callers as opposed to like a normal job, then so be it.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Gint.
Let me jump into one of the negatives I had, which is Shake Milton, who the fan base at the beginning of the year anointed the Sixth Man of the Year award before he played 10 games. How do you think this kind of turns into the postseason? Do you think his leash becomes shorter and shorter? Do you think Max will start to take all of his minutes? How do you think that will really work?
Yeah. By the way, I bought into Shake for Sixth Man. I put a $5 futures bet on that. I lost that bet. I think a lot of people bought into it because of Doc's history in the past with having such good success with developing the Sixth Man of the Year. I mean, we had it for years with Lou Williams, and then last year with Harrell. Give me 1 second. Jack, zip it. Sorry, I have to drive him.
You're good, man.
So he's just excited about the game, I guess. Yeah, look, I don't know if Shake bought his own BS. Like, I was not a Shake believer last year under Brett Brown, when he went in the bunker and had him play point guard. I thought under Doc he would develop and possibly contend for Sixth Man of the Year. And for that first 2 months, it looked like he was. I don't know what the hell's happened with him the last, 2 months, 3 months, because he just looks like a guy that's kind of bought his own BS. And then I try to remind myself he kind of looks like a guy who's a former second-round pick that maybe, we did kind of, buy the hype a little too much. He's definitely a cause for concern for me because one of my keys for them beating a Brooklyn team is a deep bench, and he's going to have to be a big part of that. But that's luckily an advantage of playing, when you're the 1 seed, of playing an 8 seed is you kind of expect this team to go out there with their starters, steamroll the Wizards, and get the second unit a lot of run. And in that sense, you're going to be able to find out, I think, after this series, the true definition of Shake's role. But he's got to play better because I was there Sunday, and when Tyrese Maxey was introduced, that crowd went nuts. That crowd does not want Shake Milton. And if you're just looking for pure energy from a fan base, and you're looking for, honestly, better production at this point, it's hard to tell me that Tyrese Maxey hasn't kind of eclipsed Shake Milton right now in the rotation. I know that Jock's going to give him every benefit of the doubt, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Tyrese right now over Shake.
Yeah, I am too. And if you asked me that question a month ago, I would have said you're crazy, but that's where I'm at now. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I just want to say that I also bet on Shake winning Sixth Man of the Year, so that was a tough one to lose. If we do see Shake struggle tonight, second game of the playoffs, obviously, do you think Maxey gets his chance and gets bumped up into the rotation?
I don't think it happens after this game. I think that they're going to use the whole series to kind of split the minutes, see who plays better. And I think they could use next series too, depending on who they play. I mean, we all kind of expect that they play the Knicks. They're going to beat the Knicks, but it might be a hard-fought series because the Knicks play hard. Atlanta, you should be able to steamroll because they really only have Trae Young. I mean, Colin's good, but they're young, but they're just not there. So I think that he's going to use basically this entire run up into, your meeting with either Brooklyn or Milwaukee as kind of all right, let's see who's got the hot hand going into that series. I definitely don't think it's necessarily done after this because of what Shake has given you early in the year. He's shown he can do it at times, but then you've got Maxey, who they did a good job with developing him and bringing him along. Like they want to play him for a couple games because they didn't need him, and then they would play him a lot, and he would go off, and then they wouldn't play him the rest of the way. And it was an interesting way that Doc brought him on and developed him. But what it means is he's really well rested, and I don't know if Shake was just worn down because he had never played this much basketball. That could be it. I mean, I'm kind of just stretching for an excuse, but there's no doubt that Shake's better, Tyrese Maxey's better rested going into this playoff run than Shake Milton is. So, but I think they use this round and next round to figure that out.
All right, Pat, before we get you out of here, man, game 2 is tonight in just a few hours. What are your predictions for tonight? I wanted to have a discussion with you and, break down this game a little bit, but I'm just not there, man. And I know this is not a great mindset to have, but I have no worry about tonight's game. I have no worry about the series with Washington. I don't have any, keys to the game, things that need to go the Sixers' way or that they need to do well. So just what are your overall thoughts on tonight's matchup and the series?
And I couldn't agree with you more. And this is just a typical NBA 1 versus 8 seed where you're going to be able to kick back, and hopefully in the third quarter, you're going to be
We may have lost Pat there. All right, yeah, let me.
That's tough.
Yeah. Let me
I kind of want to interview the kid.
All right, so before we continue this show, let me just send him a message, letting him know that things went.
I'm going to fill in what he probably said. I believe he said he agrees with Dylan that tonight is just another one of those games you just take care of business. Hopefully, we can see Joel not get bamboozled by the referees and play the first quarter. Him having over 30 last game, had no business of hitting, but it did. I also put in tonight for him to get over 30 again. So,
who thinks on a ref show? I mean, not to bitch about the refs because that's just stupid. Yeah. Being a 1 seed against the 8, but if it's not a ref show and Embiid's in for more than his 30 minutes that he was for game 1, there's no reason why this shouldn't be just a walkthrough.
Let's go. I can't wait to feel the energy down there, but I agree with you guys. And I said this the other day. I'm never the guy to blame the outcome of a game, and obviously the Sixers won, so it's not the outcome of a game. And I don't like getting on the refs. I think their job's hard as hell. They're just not good at their job, dude. It is bad. And watching it so intently from a Sixers playoff point of view, if you're sitting back watching the Knicks and the Hawks on Sunday night, and there's bad calls or bad reviews and blah, 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 you're just you're sitting back watching a basketball game. When you're emotional with it, when you're invested in this game and you're watching what transpired early in the game with calls on Joel Embiid that don't happen, dude, he's normally the beneficiary of these calls. He's getting to the line shooting 16, 17 free throws a night, and he still got to the line plenty. But he doesn't get those kind of calls called against him. And it's the refs were I don't know, dude. The atmosphere in Philly, first playoff game, they were making a statement of some point. The first call, sure, 100% a foul. No one argued it. He took it, whatever. The next two, the offensive swing through was awful, okay? And then the third one, he did nothing. He moved out of the way, out of Alex Len's way. And that's the counterpart to it. Not only is Joel Embiid getting calls against him, Alex Len is the beneficiary of these calls. We may have him back. Pat?
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't know how in 2021, 60 years ago, we put men on the moon and there's still dead spots for cell phones. Someone explain that to me. So sorry about that.
No, you were good.
Keith, look, the reality is you shouldn't have to worry about this game. You should be able to flip through over to the Phillies and see how they're doing. Ben Simmons' defensive effort never wanes in any game. His offensive numbers, will go up and down, but he always gives 100% defensively. You know what you're getting there. I feel like we saw the best Washington Wizards team we're going to see the other night. And with the Sixers, I kind of feel like we saw the worst of what we're going to see. They didn't shoot well in the first half, and they still came out on top. So, no, I mean, I'm pumped for the game because it's a playoff game, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm worried about the Washington freaking Wizards. I mean, they're starting Hachimura, for Christ's sake. So, look, there's no reason for you to worry about this. There's really no keys to the game. The keys to the game is like, don't mess up.
Right.
It's
Be the Sixers.
you have three guys in Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid that if one of them's having an off night, the other two should be able to carry you. For me, this is more of a developing that second unit, seeing what you have in there, because George Hill took a little bit of time to get back from an injury. You didn't really get him a lot of run with that second unit. So seeing what you have, and we talked about Tyrese and Shake. I want to see more of an offensive game from Thibault, because I think he could be really big against the Brooklyn team. But other than that, man, no, just kick back, enjoy this. I'm taking like an alternative line of, Sixers -10, because this shouldn't even be a contest. This should be over pretty early. I'm so arrogant and pompous.
No, I like it, man, and I agree. I think that
But
another dead spot. Let's give it one more second, see if it pans out here. Pat?
Negative.
Nah, we're done. Dunzo there.
Tough.
One thing I
If you can come back in or
definitely
not,
touch on is obviously Bradley Beal's little antics that he pulled the other night, kind of taunting Joel Embiid, and
Yeah.
saying it's his house.
in the second quarter.
Yeah. How about you win the game, bud?
I forgot to do it. I wanted the timestamp where he did that and see how much Joel Embiid had played at that point,
Yeah.
because it could not have been a lot.
Dude,
And I was just like, dude,
here's my thing about this
he's gonna
Wizards
get
team, right?
swept.
This first round opponent, Gint, we had the four options of Boston, Indiana, Charlotte, and Washington. And I think we were in agreement. I know I stood. Washington was the team I least wanted to see, simply because of their star power in the backcourt, and they have one of the best tandems in their backcourt that should theoretically, keep you in any game, give you a chance every given night. And they went on a big run at the end of the season when Russell Westbrook was playing like that and Bradley Beal was hurt for a little bit or whatever. But, dude, they're so bad past those two. Like, they're just not a good team. Okay, Bertans is going to come in and hit 3 threes in a row and, burn us in the second quarter or whatever. But outside of those, they're going to throw 3 centers at you. They're going to start with Alex Len, who isn't going to do what he did last game, but God willing, he gets 10 points tonight, hopefully, George. They're going to go to Gafford, who is this guy I've never heard of, who's an absolute stick trying to guard Joel Embiid. And then they're going to try the caveman and Robin Lopez, and that's not going to work. And they're all going to have 3 or 4 fouls like they did in game 1 against them. And they have no answer. And then they have Raul Neto in the starting lineup, like Pat said. They have Rui Hachimura in the starting lineup. They have Ish Smith coming off the bench, who played in the
playing us, dude. He does.
Dude,
He
they're
does.
like that backcourt should have you like competing every single night in and night out. And I guess they do as much as they can in the first half or whatever. There's just no chance. Look, man, maybe they get one in Washington, like you said, Gint, and it's a gentleman's sweep. It doesn't go past 5 for me. I want it. Like, I'm super pumped for the game tonight because it's a Sixers playoff game. But I have no worries that this game goes south. Maybe that's I'm stupid for that, and Bradley Beal's going to drop 45 and they're going to beat us tonight. I don't see it, man.
Two things. One, Robin Lopez's hook shot. You guys obviously didn't listen to the TNT broadcast. Dude, the way they were analyzing that thing, you would have thought they were talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They were like, no, he's gotten that shot down. He's figured that thing out. I was like, dude, like, we're not talking about Robin Lopez, I guess. And second, do you think he plays 11 guys again tonight?
I'll say he's at least going 10.
I think it's possible.
I just think I'm going to ask, do you think Ferk gets in again? That's essentially the question.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I think he has, in this first round matchup against his team, he's going to play that many guys and he's going to see who shows up and who doesn't. And then I think it gets dwindled down from there. So Shake and Ferk did not. Dwight, obviously Dwight's going to have to play probably out of necessity all playoff long. But Shake doesn't need to play. because you have alternatives in George Hill and Tyrese Maxey. Ferk doesn't need to play. You know what I mean? So if those guys continue 0 for 4 from 3, if Shake is a minus 14 in 9 minutes, around that area, I think they get booted from the rotation going forward.
Ferk's minutes weren't brutal enough the other night to realize that.
Hey, whoa. I never said that. I agree with you. I'm just telling you what's going to happen with Doc Rivers.
Oh, that was bad. That was so bad.
If it was up to me, Isaiah Joe would be getting run in this game before Furkan Korkmaz tonight after that performance. Okay? But
I agree with you. I think we see 10 minimum at least.
Yeah.
We see 11, but
see who can defend those two. But all right, guys, this is a Sixers Game 2 pregame show, so let's kind of do our best here. What are your keys to the game? Again, I'll throw this to you first. I don't even know what to say. The best way I can describe it is just be the Sixers. Like establish Joel Embiid. Just be the team you were all regular season. You're not going to lose this game. Now, if the Sixers shoot 2 of 30 from 3 and Joel Embiid's in foul trouble or whatever, that's it. You know what I mean? Washington has a chance, but outside of that, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was going to say the key is Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Ben Simmons don't foul out in the first quarter, and they probably win. But no, yeah, honestly, Dives kind of has it. Just put your foot on the gas right away. Don't ease into this thing. Assert dominance again. Joel Embiid first bucket, put it into FanDuel. Do what you got to do. Yeah, I just think, like you said, there's no really way to analyze this. I don't even know how these ESPN and NBC guys are doing this because it's
whoa,
they're clearly
okay. Yeah, let's just get into hot takes and just doing shit for clicks here because my man Scotty was all over Kendrick Perkins this morning. I guess he was on Get Up or First Take. I don't know I didn't see it.
What he said?
Apparent Perk now, you know how Perk's been on Joel Embiid, MVP, big man for MVP, the Sixers can beat the Nets. I've seen it. He's been saying that. He said that Washington has a chance tonight or in the series because he doesn't see Tobias Harris, going for 37 again, alluding to the fact that the Sixers need Toby to score 37 to beat the Washington Wizards. And I'm
right.
What are you talking?
He's right. I mean, he's right.
Bro, even if you don't have to allude to that fact. Washington has shown nothing, obviously in a small sample size of just one game in the playoffs, but they showed no matchup that favored them on Tobias Harris. Didn't they start out with Bradley Beal on him?
Yeah, and Bradley Beal was on Ben the first possession or whatever, and Ben saw it, ball, block, layup or whatever. But I want to get to this comment because it's the truth. Like I said, just be the Sixers. If you execute, you're not going to lose this game. And I think I said this the other day. I think it was my man Paul Hudrick, who we've had on the show a couple times. It was one of the Sixers beat reporters on Twitter. And it was in the second half after Seth started to get hot a little bit, after Danny hit an open 3, stuff like that. And it was wow, game's a lot easier when those shots are falling. You know what I mean? When the role players, when the spacing is only relevant if you're knocking down the shots. You know what I mean? So Danny Green, Seth Curry, they're going to provide spacing and the threat of being out there in the corner or on the wing. But the game becomes so much easier when those open shots start to fall. And you saw that in the second half. And Washington kept it close. But to be honest, dude, that fourth quarter, I was just kind of sitting there once the Sixers got up 9 or whatever, I was like, good night. And then Joel's mid-range was knockdown. I was this game's over, bro. So I agree with Dobbs. I agree with Anthony. If you execute, if you hit open shots like you should, I know that's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Obvious statement. Duh, if you hit open shots, you're going to beat the Wizards. But it's just what it comes down to. The Sixers just have to be the Sixers tonight. There's no Toby needs to do this. Ben needs to do this. There's none of that. Yeah, does Ben need to play great defense like he always does on that backcourt? Sure, that goes into it. But outside of that, I don't know, man. George, how are you feeling?
If we're just going to say, what we can do better, I mean, shoot the 3-ball better. The first half was so rough. If the refs, hopefully we don't see a ref show because Joel getting 3 fouls, very quickly is not ideal for us. But I think that's, the best Washington team. Yep, I think that's the best Washington team that we're going to see this whole series. They shot 40% from 3. We did not look that good. So We still won by 7. I think Vegas giving us a -8 tonight is a gift, honestly. Like I think we blow them out. I don't think this is gonna be a close game. If we play like we're supposed to play and shoot better from 3, they don't really have an answer for Toby. I mean, besides Beal and Westbrook, like the Wizards are just bad. Like the Wizards are just a really bad team. So
pre-game game 1 when Scott Brooks, they were talking about that 3-guard lineup that they run, and he said it's not about the size of the line. And I was like, the size mattered, man. Tobias Harris would look like a grown man next to these guards.
That's a great comment.
First of all, isn't it supposed to be like it isn't the size of the dog, it's the size of the fight in the dog or some shit?
Yeah.
Like what's the lion? Where's the lion coming from, Scott?
It might have been the dog, to be honest. I just saw it. I was like, bro, that's a brutal take to have.
Thoughts on Thibault? Will his offense come back to bite us later on down the road because we need his defense? So here's my thing with Tease, and then I'll throw this to you guys again because you've had a couple points. Like, he's great defensively. Like he was literally in the top 5 Defense Player of the Year candidate conversation down, at the end of the season. He found himself in that poll. But you do need him, when he's open, hit that corner 3, hit that wing 3 in transition when the ball hits your hand. You know what I mean? But as far as will his offense come back to bite us, he's not going to do anything offensively to hurt you, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So, yeah, he might play 19 minutes and have 0 points, but he's going to be like 0-1 from the field. He's not going to take possessions away from Joel Embiid, away from Tobias Harris, away from, you know what I mean? So he won't do anything to kill you or to hurt you in that sense. But I agree with what you're getting at. Like, he's great defensively, and we need him on the floor, especially against the Brooklyn or Milwaukee. But when he's open, that 3-and-D type player the 3 has to be there. You can't just be D, so that's what I look for out of Tease.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, like you just said, right now it's not going to bite us because we're in a series where we're going to be able to handle the other team. But it is like I brought up how if we're trailing in a game against a Brooklyn Nets or Milwaukee Bucks, how much he can play next to Ben with the way Ben's scoring the ball and the way he doesn't really shoot the ball. It's kind of tough to have them both on the floor next to each other. Who was that?
Not I.
Someone got a text message.
Not me.
It was none of us.
I swear to God, it wasn't me.
I don't know, but
I think the kid down here is playing it off.
Who
did that?
Kid's good.
No, yeah. So you made me lose my train of thought. I don't know if it will come back to bite us. It's something kind of that Doc is going to be in a really tough position with. But Dive just kind of alluded to it. The way he just swallows people on defense and makes them work so hard even if they do score, they work so hard to score on him is something I think that's going to be huge in a James Harden, Chris Middleton, Kyrie Irving, Drew Holiday type guy. So we're going to use him. He's going to play. So
can I throw this to you guys and see just one thing to look at for going forward is obviously if Joel has 40 on Washington and they win, it's going to be great. But I want to see Washington continue to see use this as practice for different looks, right? So we've seen how Miami can frustrate him. We've seen different teams throw these different double teams, zones, different kind of stuff at him to keep him off the block and make him catch the ball higher up at the 3-point line and see what he can do from there. I guess see if Washington continues to throw different looks, different doubles, different reads at him and see how Joel can execute off of that. Is that something that we can look for in this series, to try to be positive about? I don't know.
Go ahead, George. You can go.
I mean, sure, why not? I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's nothing really to say. Yes.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for the rest of this round essentially is just not giving teams something to kind of take away from it.
Yeah.
I mean, so if they do decide to go this weird lineup where Hachimura plays the center and it maybe disrupts us 3 possessions in a row and Brooklyn puts that on their notepad and you know what I mean? So just
show no weakness.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You're going to show weaknesses. Our bench looked like a weakness in game 1. Like I said, I believe George Hill was really the only one that looked good. Thibault looked all right and the rest looked really bad. So, but there's not much to take away. Like we said, I mean, we got on here and we were like, how do we even break this down?
It's hard, dude. It's really hard.
If the Sixers play decent, they'll win.
They're just the better team. And again, in this first round, it's the typical 1 versus 8 seed. Now, a little bit of a wrench gets thrown into it when you have a triple-double king and an MVP in Russell Westbrook, and you have a guy who's competing for scoring titles in Bradley Beal, who Sixers fans want so badly on this team. Yeah, they're a great backcourt. But like I said, outside of those two players, they're not good, like whatsoever, dude. So that's nothing strikes fear in me. Dude, even if those two went off for 30 apiece, that's 60. Okay. Where's the rest of the points coming from Washington? Where are they getting 50 plus points from? I don't see it anywhere. So they really don't scare me whatsoever. That this is an astute observation. I love this. If the Sixers score more points, they will beat the Wizards. Guys, before we get off here, just what are your predictions for tonight? I think obviously everyone knows where we're going, but
I got some for you. Ready?
Oh, shoot.
Ben, double-double, Sixers win. Joel, over 30, Sixers win. Ben, over 15 points, Sixers win. Tobias, over 20, Sixers win. And Seth Curry, over 3.5, made 3, Sixers win.
Nice. 3.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vegas is I think Vegas giving us -8 is a gift. I think we cruise to this game. Ben double-double and a win, great bet. Seth Curry or over 13.5 points. I like that. I think this is just gonna be easy dub. I mean, there's not really much to say. If we shoot the 3-ball better, it's gonna be easier than game 1. If Embiid stays out of foul trouble again, then that's the 10 plus more minutes of Joel Embiid on the floor. So Sixers cruise. We win by 10 plus, maybe 15. I think it's an easy win for us.
All right. It's a Sixers dub. It's a Sixers cover. This series is a sweep. It's a maybe at most a gentleman's sweep. And that's all I got for you guys. And, tomorrow we'll have a lot to talk about because we can talk about the game after the fact. But as far as doing a typical breakdown, what are your keys to success? I got nothing for you. We know what needs to happen. Everyone knows what needs to happen. We're not going to say anything mind-boggling here that's going to make you be like, oh, yeah, that's true.
As a basketball perspective, though, just to mention, obviously we're Sixers fans, so we're excited for this one. If you're just a casual NBA fan, the 3 games tonight are brutal, in my opinion. I mean, the Hawks and Knicks had a really good game 1, but that series is boring. Memphis and the Utah Jazz might be – I can't even think of a more boring series in my lifetime. And then if you're not a Sixers fan, like you look at this, and it is –
This is the comment of the Daily Dose history.
Whoa.
The Sixers win and a fan base. What? What?
Dude, you just cut out so bad. You started skipping and staticking.
All you heard was
really?
It was crazy.
Am I good now?
Yeah, no, you're sure now.
You're actually so funny.
My Wi-Fi's fine.
Yeah,
dude, I thought I said something bad that I didn't realize I said. I was like, what did I do? No, I said this is the comment of Daily Dose history.
Oh yeah,
a Sixers win and a fan base critical of Ben's play.
Odds on that are the same odds as Joel Embiid scoring 5 points tonight.
So for myself, for George, for Gint, we all have easy Sixers wins covering the spread tonight. Go lock that in. And we will be back tomorrow at 4:00. Shout out to Pat Egan for coming on today. I know it was a little rough, but that's what happened. Connection problems happen all the time. So for myself, give me a follow on Twitter at DylanJD98. George is at _George Ryder. Give Gint a follow at Matt _McGinty. And guys, please go subscribe to DSM Media on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch and follow us on TikTok as we're new to TikTok. It's been real fun and real interesting so far. We're just taking clips and fun portions of the show and throwing it out there for more conversation. So have a nice night and go Sixers.